Well, good morning from Hanoi. This is our first breakfast in Hanoi, and Nadine this morning is already torn into a bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich, a cup of very strong Vietnamese coffee, some slices of watermelon, and this is passion fruit juice. Very good. And for me, coffee and pho. Now, pho in the north is quite a lot different than pho in the south, and in this case the broth is much thinner, chicken more prevalent than beef, and the sauce is, the broth is just, it's so clear, doesn't have an awful lot of flavor, but when you add some sriracha and some garlic and fresh chilies, it amps it right up and it becomes a fantastic meal. And when you look at the noodles themselves, not like regular rice noodles that we see in North America. These, in fact, are cut from very long strips of rice flour that is cooked on a flat grill. It comes round, and then each noodle is individually sliced off of that, and that's how these all become. So there's noodles that are all, the ends of the noodles are slightly rounded from the actual sort of noodle pancake that they start out like. Among the many objectives that we have today, one of the main objectives that we have is to find a local dish known as cam tam, which is broken rice and grilled pork chop and all kinds of other things. So we'll catch up with that pretty soon. But in the meantime, we're gonna wander around and see a whole bunch of downtown Hanoi and the old quarter during the day. Stay tuned. All right, Nadine, so where are we gonna go today?
Well, there's three places that we think that would be super interesting. The first one would be the Vietnam National Museum of History,
which is kind of a long view of the evolution of history through Vietnam, through all the dynasties, the Chinese occupation, the French occupation, and later on the American attempt at occupation. And what else?
Well, there's another thing, the Women's Museum.
Women's culture here in Vietnam is huge. There are institutes for women's fashion, beauty, aesthetics here all over the place. And now you see that's even being imported to Canada, right? Like with all the nail salons and so on. Mm-hmm. This is a rich part of the tapestry of Vietnam and women in Vietnam. And what else are we gonna see?
Well, one other thing would be super interesting would be the Hai Lo prison.
The Hai Lo prison. So this is an ancient prison that served for many, many decades and centuries. So it contained prisoners from the early inception of Hanoi all the way through until fairly recent modern times. We'll have a little bit more background on that for you when we get there. Mm-hmm. And one of the other things that we want to see is the tomb of Ho Chi Minh.
Ah, yes.
And Ho Chi Minh is the father or uncle of the people of Vietnam. In fact, the people of Vietnam refer to him as Uncle Ho. And everybody in Vietnam is a one person, one family, all united. And that is the true spirit of Vietnam. So,
that is so right.
So, we're gonna get going pretty soon, so stay tuned.